Hello and good day. I'm a guy who picks up garbage off the ground anywhere I find it. I don't know how I got into the habit, but it has become something that I am quite obsessive about. Anywhere I go, be it out shopping with my family, at a park, or when I'm walking around talking to people promoting our shop for hours a day, I have a hard time walking by any litter without picking it up and throwing it away. Sometimes this even gets a little extreme. One day I was walking around in the parking lot in front of our shop and I saw that people had eaten McDonald's and they literally threw all of their garbage on the ground afterwards. Several burger wrappers, cups, fry cartons, ketchup packages, the whole shebang. I couldn't help myself. I cleaned up that whole dang mess. It took several trips back and forth to the garbage can. In the middle of that, the center's maintenance lady, Maria, came by and told me not to worry about it. She said that she would come handle it in a moment, but I wanted to do it. You know why? I've developed a philosophy about picking up garbage off the ground. I've come to believe that it is a privilege to be the one who gets to clean up a mess. I recognize how weird this sounds, so I ask you to bear with me for a little bit while I lay this out. By the way, this philosophy applies to more than just trash on the ground. It is a general theory of solving problems. Here is the premise of the whole thing. I'm looking for blessings. I want my family to be well taken care of. I want our company to thrive. I want all of our friends and customers to flourish and be healthy. I'm trying to gather up a surplus of blessings so that I have blessings to spare for all the folks who I wish good upon. And I believe that blessings are bestowed on good acts. Personally, I believe in God, even though I don't fully practice any particular religion. And I believe that God blesses righteous acts. However, you could be an atheist to get on board with this thought process as well. You could believe in karma too. As long as you can get your head around the idea that what goes around comes around, you can be in this club. And I'd consider maintaining a lovely and pleasing environment for us to all live in to be a righteous act. It is just one example of an infinite number of things we can all do to make the world a better place. But this thing goes even deeper. I used to look at trash on the ground and feel resentment. I'd think that the whole world was falling apart. What happened to the values of humanity? Where is the civic pride? I don't think that way anymore. Now I see somebody else's moral failings as my opportunity. They gave up their blessings. They threw them on the ground and didn't value them. If I walk by the opportunity, I am passing up blessings too. Sure, I'm not the one throwing blessings on the ground, but by not picking up the trash, by not taking action, by not helping to improve the world when I can easily do something, I would be missing tons of opportunities to store up good for myself and those I care about. And that would be a bad move. I know it makes me look pretty strange sometimes. And I know it embarrasses my family a little bit too. But you aren't going to convince me to not scoop up easy victories when they are right there for the taking. There are many additional benefits to this mode of action. Here is the biggest one. One of my favorite sayings lately is that lessons are caught, not taught. I didn't come up with it. I heard it from somebody else. You can lecture or scold somebody until you are blue in the face. However, if you don't practice what you preach, if you're a hypocrite, the person you are trying to convince will never see you as credible. And they will never do what you want them to do. It doesn't matter how much authority you have or think you have. On the other hand, without saying a word, if you do what is right, and people see you day in, day out, and day in and day out consistently, they will follow your lead. You don't even have to tell them why you are doing what you are doing. If it is a good act and you are constant, people will pick it up. It's almost miraculous how this works. I have so many examples of this, but I will tell you about just one. Not too long ago, I went to a park with my family. On the way to the bathroom, I saw a huge mess. Somebody had a picnic and left all of their trash on the ground. We're talking napkins and paper plates, utensils, empty soda cans, the works. I stopped and started cleaning it up. The park we were at was a very lovely park, and it was much too nice to be ruined by such an ugly scene. Of course, I thanked my lucky stars for such an opportunity. These lazy and thoughtless folks had actually done me a huge favor. The bigger the mess or problem, the bigger the blessing for me. I did my work, and afterwards, I continued on to the bathroom. On the way, two men, who were obviously drunk, stopped me. I could see that they were Spanish speakers, so I saluted them in Spanish. They were slurring their words, and their eyes were bloodshot red. There were empty beer cans all around them. They were sitting on a little supporting wall that ran down the side of the public bathroom. They were spending the afternoon getting hammered. One of these gentlemen asked me in Spanish if I worked for the park. I told him that I didn't, and I asked him why he thought that. He said that he saw me picking up trash and thought that I must work for the park. I took the opportunity to explain my philosophy to him. This is not made up, by the way. This really happened. I laid out the whole thing for him, just as I laid it out for you before. At the end, in a funny way, I told them that they'd be doing me a big favor by leaving all of those beer cans behind for me to throw away. I'm not trying to judge here or cast aspersions, but these two gentlemen, as drunk as they were, seemed to me like they were the kind of folks who would probably leave all of their trash behind. I didn't rag on them and tell them to throw their beer cans away before leaving. I set the example, made them laugh, spoke some Spanish, and then went on my way. I still hadn't used the bathroom yet, so things got urgent after a while. Before we left, I looked over at where they were still sitting. They hadn't waited very long after our conversation to take action. Their little area was good and clean, and that gave me a funny thought. It is so much better to be drunk in a park in a clean space than a dirty one, but I digress. You see, lessons really are caught, not taught. However, you can't catch something that isn't thrown out there. So you get to kill two birds with one stone. You get the blessing from a righteous act, and you get to set a good example for folks who might be looking on, be it a couple of drunk grown men in a park or youngsters who might see you doing something good and want to emulate it themselves in the future. Of course, there is one other huge benefit to all of this. You take a circumstance that would normally make you feel resentful or even disgusted and will get you thinking that society is falling apart, and you transform it into something that is incredibly uplifting. Instead of being angry at somebody for doing something so rotten, you are appreciative that you've been given a wonderful opportunity to serve. It is a whole different perspective, and I find it to be a very healthy way to live. Lastly, I better point out that I always give my hands a thorough washing each and every time I do something like this. Anyhow, I hope that you will turn something ugly into an opportunity for yourself one of these days so that you can test this theory for yourself. And in the meantime, I hope that you have a truly blessed day. Adam.